Yo. Welcome back to another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. What's up, y'all? On today's episode, we're going to talk about Nikola Vucevic. Should he want to stay with the Chicago Bulls? Y'all already know I'm going to talk about it. But you know, you got to hear the music first.
Cognac. Gang.
Shy Boys Podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, holding it down on the daily episode for me and my co-host C-Dub. If you like what you're listening to today, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I brought the question. Should Nikola Vucevic want to stay a Chicago Bull? Now, we know what Nikola Vucevic did last year. Gave you 17 points, 11 rebounds, and shot 36% from the three. Pretty damn good for a big man. And you ain't got a lot of big men around the league that can space the floor and shoot the three like that. Now, when we talk about Nikola Vucevic, we got to keep in mind, he came in one of the seasons when he was traded here, half the season. You know, the Bulls could have made the playoffs, but Zach had got COVID, and they ain't make the playoffs. Then the following year, they got DeMar DeRozan, Lonzo Ball, Alex Caruso, added a lot of good pieces. Bulls was destined for a playoff spot. They did make the playoffs. Lonzo Ball goes down. Kind of changes the trajectory, or at least what could have been for the Chicago Bulls. They get bounced in the first round by the Milwaukee Bucks. Then last season, seemed like there was a lot of, I don't want to go with a harsh word like turmoil, but there was some turbulence. So just a little bit of turbulence in that locker room, in my opinion, to where, and I believe in late November, early December, there was some back and forth that was being reported between Bulls players and Zach LaVine, and some people even, considering Nikola Vucevic as being part of the problem. Goran Dragic saying different things in the media, things like that, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But one thing we do know, regardless of how sassy we think that Nikola Vucevic could be on the court, how many times he cussed in Serbian and get technical fouls at the wrong moments of the game or even get ejected, it is what it is, though, man. But one thing can't not be denied is that Nikola Vucevic is definitely one of the better big men in the league because what he offers, period. He offers floor spacing. You ain't getting a lot of big men around the league that can do that. Add floor spacing, and then also be able to hit some threes and then occasionally get hot from the three and get it going for your team. He hit some big threes this past season, and you ain't finding that in a lot of big men that's available around the league. He's a pick and pop option. You know what I'm saying? Has a little back to the basket game, but it's something that he didn't really go to a lot, that we wanted him to go to a lot when it was trying to back down players. But hey, he still got the offensive talent to where it's hard to find in today's NBA. You know what I'm saying? He has solid passing ability. He's not the best defender, but definitely is not always terrible. Especially this past season, we know that contract year, so people going to say a lot of the players, they're going to play a little bit better so they can make sure that they get themselves a contract, things like that. But if we're looking at it, you know what I'm saying, that's pretty much who Nikola Vucevic is. You know what I'm saying? A guy that can give you a lot of offense, not so much defensively, but he's not terrible. And I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. It's not a lot of options around the league that can replace Vooch, at least from the offensive side. You know what I'm saying? And then if you're looking at the landscape right now, you ain't a lot of centers available to where you could think like, yes, he's a definite guy that you have to go after. I'm one of the guys, me and Unc, we one of the guys to go out there and say, hey, look into Naz Reid. Yes, we look into Naz Reid, but he does not have the size of a Nikola Vucevic. I think that his offensive game, he offers some of those things, but he still got to tune up on some of those things as well. He will be coming off injury, so that will be something that the Bulls will have to consider. Other centers that would be available either under free agency is like a Brook Lopez. I don't know if you make that move. You got a Jakob Poeltl that's out there. You got Dwight Powell. So some of those moves, yeah, you might think like, yeah, go get him because he can provide defense. Example for Jakob Poeltl. But what about the offensive side? You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you got to pick your pieces correctly when constructing a team. Because if you go with a center and Jakob Poeltl, who's strong defensively, not so strong offensively, what other pieces are you going to surround the team with to make up for that offensive deficiency. You know what I'm saying? So we got to consider a lot of things like that. And when it comes to Nikola Vucevic and why I pose the question on if he even should want to be a Chicago Bulls, because simply Vooch hasn't had an opportunity to have a really good, deep playoff run. You know what I'm saying? And what if a team who feel like they a piece away, a center away, who has some playoff experience but hasn't made a deep run, just feel like Nikola Vucevic can be the center that we need to help take them over the top? Vooch will have to strongly consider that. Vooch will have to strongly consider that. Like, for an example, I got a couple examples on the teams. I'm looking at the Cleveland Cavs. What if they feel like Jared Allen just wasn't good enough? Yes, you know what I'm saying? He's a shot blocker. He comes in with defense, but in the season, in the series against the New York Knicks, he got beat up and didn't provide anything offensively. Now, if the Cleveland Cavs be like, hey, let's see if we can work something out. And I haven't really dove deep into like how can these guys be acquired. So we just talking. You know what I'm saying? This could be via trade, via free agency, things like that. What if the Cavs, propose something to where they be like, hey, we want to get you up in here. We're going to do something with Jared Allen, make the room for you, let you be our starter center, line you up next to Evan Mobley, who's a growing, good player in this league. And let's see what you can add, because we know when things got tough for the Cavs, Jared Allen offensively, he just wasn't good. Nikola Vucevic adds that offensive element that the Cavs were desperately needed when the New York Knicks keyed in on Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell. So what if they say, hey, let's get Nikola Vucevic up in there. He has the offensive talent. Once teams try to double team while he's on that low post, he has the passing ability to get other guys involved. That's something they might look at. Another team, Toronto. What if Toronto decides that they want to stick with Fred VanVleet, stick with Siakam, stick with OG Anunoby, and then just add more offensive firepower on their team? They might get the caller. You know what I'm saying? What about the Atlanta Hawks? What if they feel like their course has ran with Clint Capella? No, Vucevic won't be the lob threat for Trae Young, but in the pick and roll, now you got a big guy who can roll to the basket, but who can also pop back out on a three-point line and knock down a three. Or what about Dallas? That will be very, very interesting. You know what I'm saying? Because Nikola Vucevic will bring in that experience of playing with ball-dominant players but still being effective. Luka Doncic is a ball-dominant player, but he needs, you know what I'm saying? Nikola Vucevic will be that person that he can defer to in those later seconds where Vucevic can do you a good quick pick and pop, get back out to the three-point line and let Luka operate, and Vuce can go ahead and shoot the three. Vuce doesn't complain much. You know what I'm saying? So that might be something that the Dallas Mavericks might look into as they try to build out their team. And Dwight Powell is a free agent, so they will need a center. Christian Woods is available, so they will need a center. What if money comes into play? Vucevic is giving about $25 million per year. You know what I'm saying? What if the Bulls offer, let's say 17, 18, and Dallas say we'll give you 20? That's something that Vucevic has to strongly consider. Then you coming in, you playing with a young, dynamic point guard. Yes, he has a struggle as being a ball hog at times, but he is dynamic and he has the playoff experience to get to the Western Conference Finals. And what if Nikola Vucevic see that as something that's intriguing to where he wants to move, especially because of the money? We got to consider all this stuff. Yes, we know that Nikola Vucevic came in, did his thing, and was happy that he didn't get traded at the deadline. But what if he kind of feels slighted as well? Like, I gave y'all at that particular moment 2 years, and at the end of the season 2.5 years, and y'all didn't bring nothing to the table for me to even consider. You didn't bring anything. So what if he felt slighted because of that? So it's a lot of things. I believe that Nikola Vucevic should do what's best for him at this particular moment. Go and meet with the front office. If the front office is not giving you a clear and direct path on what needs to happen, Vucevic should have his options open. Everything should matter. Obviously, he has to consider his family. Obviously, he has to look at money. Obviously, he has to look at what kind of success that the team will have. You know what I'm saying? And this is me just thinking, being open-minded about the situation. You know what I'm saying? Because I know y'all heard me say plenty of times, I don't want the core to remain the same. Either Vooch has to go or DeMar has to go. And I'm going to be keeping a buck with you. The more likely person that's going to stay is DeMar DeRozan because of the contract. He has years left. Vooch doesn't. You know what I'm saying? So that's how we have to look at all of it. And Vooch has to consider who the hell he's playing with. Are you going to get a better point guard in here that can facilitate and give me good shots, good looking shots? You know what I'm saying? Be more involved in the offense. What is my role going to be? It's a lot of things to consider. But if I'm answering my own question on if Nikola Vucevic should want to be a Chicago Bull, to me, it's going to come down to what are the goals for the team? Who are you planning on bringing in on the team? What's my money looking like? What is my role going to look like? Et cetera, et cetera. It's going to have to be a decision for Nikola Vucevic, future, because I believe he's 33 years old, 34 years old. You know what I'm saying? So he's up there. He only got so many years left. You know what I'm saying? So what position or what team can come calling that will put him in the best position to compete for a championship? Is it in Chicago? Is it somewhere else? You know what I'm saying? Or if he's not concerned about, playing for a championship and he just want to, collect some coins before he depart, from the NBA, he will have to look at that too. That's his mindset. What is his mindset moving forward? That's going to have to be left up to him. You know what I'm saying? So that's all things considered. Y'all go ahead. That's it for the day. I just want to go ahead and have a dialogue and just put it out there. Should Nikola Vucevic want to remain a Chicago Bull? Me, I say he should, but it has to be on par with the front office. And that's me thinking objectively, not subjectively. You know what I'm saying? He should, because he probably could feel like he still has work left here to do. Last year was a letdown. He wants to come back and help this team make a deep playoff run and contend for a championship. But it's a lot of things that we have to consider at the same time. So that's it for today, y'all. Make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. If you want to sound off on this particular topic, go ahead and send a text message in or call in at 773-242-9219. This is another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. I'm Bobby. Y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one.
Cognac. Gang.